Sue Moroney.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Well, you know this is a government out of ideas when the whole of this debate is focused on a piece of legislation that they should have brought to this House more than a year ago, and they're bringing it down back in a watered-down state. That's the best that they can do for this debate. You know that they're out of ideas. No wonder Scott Simpson's constituents are coming to him and saying you're inefficient and you're cumbersome and you're working at a glacial speed. No wonder they're saying that, because seriously, is this the best they can do? Their whole debate has been about a piece of legislation that they couldn't even bring to this House in the form in which they truly wanted to. That's the best this worn-out government can do. But this year, they have spent their time doing those sorts of things. They have been facing down so many scandals and trying to bring in so many distractions that they've forgotten to get on with the things that New Zealanders really need to get on with. So, fighting off the Saudi sheep scandal, they've been focused on that. They've been trying to make people forget about ponytail pulling. They've been trying to distract from the things that have gone wrong for this government because they truly have lost their way. And I think one of the pinnacles of this, well, the Northland by-election, I think the people really started to give them a signal that they'd had enough of that sort of behaviour. But also, John Key rolled over on the issue of human rights for New Zealanders being deported and detained from Australia. Now, if Richie McCaw had rolled over for Australia in the same way that John Key did, we wouldn't be holding the Rugby World Cup. We'd be actually instead saying, oh gosh, we lost to Australia, because John Key was too weak to actually take that issue on. But Andrew Little was the one who showed leadership on this issue. He was not prepared and is not prepared to see New Zealanders being treated in that way. He went over and he confronted the issue. He didn't run away and hide. That's the sort of leadership that this country needs. And instead, what are we getting? Well, in the Waikato, in the region that I come from, unemployment's gone up 34% in the last quarter alone. Unemployment up in the Waikato 34%. So it's gone up in the last quarter from being 5% to being 6.7%, just in one quarter. That represents the loss of 3,800 jobs to people in my region. 3,800 jobs just in 3 months. And that's before we lose 200 jobs from Ruakura next year. That's right, in the heart of agricultural New Zealand, in the Waikato, that government is sacking scientists in the agricultural area from the heart of agricultural New Zealand. 200 jobs been lost. And so when those jobs go, the unemployment rate's going to look even worse. Huntly Mines, they completely mismanaged State Coal, and Huntly miners have lost their jobs. That 3,800 jobs lost in just the last 3 months, you can multiply that several times, Mr Speaker, for the number of family members who will be hurt by those jobs being lost, by the number of local businesses that will lose income because those jobs have been lost, and the poverty, the increased poverty that our children will face in that region as a result of that. So at the same time as jobs are being lost in their thousands in the Waikato, what else are we facing? The government's failure this year to fix the Auckland housing crisis means that housing prices and the cost of renting in Hamilton is going through the roof. So that we have got the perfect storm under this government. We've got increasing housing costs, 8.5% increase in rental costs in the Waikato in the last year alone. And I can tell you, Mr Speaker, that's just the tip of the iceberg, because Aucklanders are marching down over the Bombays because that government has refused to do anything about the housing crisis. They've been warned for years about that developing housing crisis. They've done nothing about it, and now Aucklanders are coming to my city, buying up in Hamilton, forcing the housing prices up, continuing to work in Auckland because they can't get jobs in the Waikato because unemployment has gone up by 34%. Can you imagine, Mr Speaker, what that is doing to family life for those people? So that is the fate under this government. That's the brighter future that they have delivered after 7 years. Rising unemployment, increasing costs at the same time as people can least afford to pay those costs. It is damaging our society, it is damaging New Zealand, and it's time for the government to reconsider its position or just vacate government. If they can't do the job, then just get out of it and let those of us who've got the ideas get on with it.